CTV News.
Foreign countries that have been ripping us off for years are ecstatic. They're so happy. And they're dancing in the streets, but they won't be dancing for long. That I can assure you.
A gut punch to U.S. President Donald Trump's signature economic policy with his tariffs ruled unlawful, but he is not backing down. Good evening. The U.S. Supreme Court has struck down most of President Trump's tariffs in a 6-3 decision. The court ruled he overstepped his emergency powers. CTV's Abigail Bimman has the impact.
I'm ashamed of certain members of the court, absolutely ashamed.
The American president says he's deeply disappointed in the U.S. Supreme Court decision striking down so-called IEEPA or fentanyl tariffs. He then, as many predicted, announced new ones.
Today I will sign an order to impose a 10% global tariff under Section 122 over and above our normal tariffs already being charged. And we're also initiating several Section 301 and other investigations to protect our country.
President Trump has famously said his favorite word is tariff. And so I don't think they're going to simply walk away.
IEEPA tariffs collected an estimated $240 billion. The Supreme Court decision did not address refunds, while one dissenting opinion noted handling them would be a mess.
Unraveling that and securing refunds is going to be messy, but that's certainly going to be a key issue that Canadian businesses are going to be focused on.
While steel and aluminum, automotive and lumber tariffs remain in place. Yet the vast majority of Canadian goods were exempt from IEEPA tariffs anyway due to CUSMA, the free trade deal that's up for review.
With these midterms, with a shifting political climate in the United States, with the inability of Congress to just follow him at a command, all of those things add up to a situation where I think it is more likely that he's actually going to engage on CUSMA than attempt to burn it to the ground.
The lead minister on the Canada-U.S. file said in a statement the court decision reinforces Canada's position that IEEPA tariffs are unjustified, but says, quote, critical work lies ahead to fight for businesses still impacted by tariffs on steel, aluminum, and autos. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Premier Doug Ford offering his thoughts, posting today's U.S. Supreme Court decision is another important victory in the fight against President Trump's tariffs, but the battle isn't over yet. I won't stop fighting until every last tariff against Canada is dropped so we can grow our economies and create jobs on both sides of the border. Today's ruling does not lift key tariffs on autos, steel, and aluminum, and with talk of new ones, uncertainty remains. CTV's Sanjay Maru breaks down the local impact.
Windsor is built around integrated supply chains, parts crossing the border sometimes multiple times before a locally built vehicle is finished. So even with Friday's Supreme Court ruling, local experts say it doesn't mean all clear, not when sector tariffs remain and not when the White House is already signaling a new path for more.
It could be quite serious. A 10% global tariff around the world, that'll definitely send shockwaves in our region, but also around the world, of course.
Some say the Supreme Court's decision to limit the president's use of emergency powers is a step in the right direction.
It shows that other parts of the U.S. government are starting to mobilize in the direction of common sense and order in the world's economy.
But with the tariffs that hit hardest here, including those on autos, steel, and aluminum, still in place, Windsor's mayor says the pain is still there.
There are businesses here who've had to front those tariffs in order to continue to sell into their largest market. And what that means, there's been pressure put on people who work here. Business owners have had to make tough decisions which affect the lives of people in our community.
In a statement, Unifor says the most damaging tariffs Canada faces were never imposed under emergency powers in the first place because trade agreement compliant goods were exempt. And with so-called national security tariffs still in place, local business leaders add, this moment is not about cutting ties with the U.S., but expanding Canada's trade options while maintaining its most crucial economic relationship.
It can't be an or situation. We can't have the United States or the rest of the world. It has to be the United States and the rest of the world.
Sanjay Maru, CTV News.
6 people are facing charges after a drug and gun bust in Chatham, Kent. Police say officers searched a home on Sarah Crescent Thursday and found meth, cocaine, and fentanyl, along with a loaded Glock handgun. The drugs have an estimated street value of about $54,000. A 27-year-old man from Brampton and 5 people from Chatham have all been charged. The accused, ranging in age from 20 to 36, face multiple trafficking and firearms offenses. Meantime, a Kingsville man is charged after a crash in Essex. Ontario Provincial Police say officers responded to a collision on County Road 50 East Thursday night. A 32-year-old man is charged with impaired operation, an allegedly excessive blood alcohol level, and dangerous driving. Police say his license was suspended for 90 days and the vehicle impounded for a week. He's set to appear in a Windsor court April 1st. It's cases like what's alleged there. Critics say temporary bar hours won't help avoid. Windsor and now the province as a whole has extended the hours bars can serve this weekend so folks can have a drink while watching the Olympics in the morning. Here's CTV's Chris Campbell with the pushback.
Downtown councillor Ronaldo Augustino says Windsor's hospitality sector is still rebuilding post-pandemic, and major sporting events are an opportunity to draw people out.
Well, we don't want you to sit home, right? We're trying to get people out of their houses. Get out there, enjoy yourself, live your life.
News shared by Augustino that the Alcohol and Gaming Commission is allowing a temporary extension for bars and restaurants to open early for Olympic Games, like this Sunday's gold medal hockey match, is sparking debate online. One post saying this is honestly ridiculous. Alcohol is already the most accessible drug in Ontario. And another reading, great, now I need to watch out for drunks on the road at 7 a.m.
No one's forcing anybody to do anything. If you don't want to participate and if you don't want to go out, that's your prerogative. The idea behind it is giving businesses a reason to open, and by providing them with this extra step, with this extra tool, none of them think that it's going to be this windfall in one category, but it's going to convince more of them to open and take part of this and bring people out and get people together.
The announcement also prompting a response from Mothers Against Drunk Driving Windsor and Essex County, which is urging residents to plan ahead if they choose to drink.
Anytime there's alcohol involved in any type of gathering, the risk for impaired driving, is high.
The group wrote in part, if you're drinking, don't drive, no matter the hour. Morning impairment is still impairment.
Go out, have a great time, celebrate our country, celebrate Canada, celebrate the Olympics, but do it in a responsible manner without putting anyone or yourself in danger by driving home after you've been drinking.
It's really good for business. Yeah, yesterday was disappointing, but confident that Canada's men's team can do it.
Local businesses welcome the opportunity, especially now that Canada beat Finland 3-2 in the semifinals.
That's perfect. Get started right and early.
I don't have anything against it.
Setting the stage for a Sunday morning gold medal game.
I mean, it's one of the few times that I can probably get away with having a beer at 6 a.m., so go Canada.
I think it's a great idea.
Be responsible, right? But let's stop thinking that the entire world is irresponsible, because it's not.
Chris Campbell, CTV News.
Well, it'll be an early morning at sports bars everywhere Sunday with Canada's men playing for hockey gold against the U.S. This after another nail-biter today. Here's CTV's Heather Butts with reaction from Canadian fans in Milan.
Another emotional night for Canadian hockey fans here in Italy with a game many said was far too tight for too long. At this bar here in Milan, a popular place for Canadians to come and watch hockey and celebrate together. Tonight, there is jubilation that Canada's men's hockey team will play in the gold medal game.
The first year is so stressful, just being down, and then all of a sudden Canada put all the energy in and just crushed it right to the bitter end.
Let's go, Canada! Let's go! As you get closer to the finals, these teams are just way too strong. So, and it doesn't matter what team it is. It's unbelievable, man. They're good hockey.
I'd like to be at the game today, but a close second is this. I mean, a couple hundred Canadians, just crazy. This is how it should be at the Olympics.
We're just a family that just enjoys hockey in general, and this was just amazing opportunity to be here in Milan with my kids.
There is so much joy and excitement here tonight. New friendships formed over sport. And those who don't have tickets tell me they will be back here to cheer on their team in the gold medal game on Sunday. Heather Butts, CTV News, Milan, Italy.
Back here in Windsor, police are asking for help identifying a suspect they say broke into a business and hung around for hours. It happened at a place on Olette just south of Jackson Park. On February 3rd, employees arrived on site to find the place ransacked. It's alleged a computer monitor was stolen and drinks were taken and consumed. Officers say their investigations led them to believe the man broke into the business the night before and stayed inside for over 4 hours. They want to find him now. You see him here in this image. Anyone with information is asked to contact police. A $1 million donation is supporting heart and lung care at Windsor Essex's forthcoming Fancy Family Hospital.
Thank you.
The Colavino family has given the money to help fund diagnostic equipment at the future hospital. The family says the gift was inspired by their own experiences with heart and lung care. Local donations help pay for equipment not covered by the province. The hospital is still under construction.
It's a wonderful day for our families. We're very excited to be able to give back to our community. This is a community that helped us become what we've become, a large contractor, but it all came from the local community. We're very excited to be able to give something back.
And construction season is firing back up in Leamington with work picking up on parts of Margaret, Audrey, Jane, Clare, and Shirk Streets. Monday, crews will start with sewer work on Jane and Clare, expected to last into May. Concrete and final paving are planned for June, with full completion targeted early this summer, weather permitting. A proposed zoning update in Tecumseh is sparking buzz online. Some posts claim large RVs and trailers could be banned from driveways, but as CTV's Stephanie Mazzotti reports, the mayor says that's not necessarily true.
We're basically now a unified community.
In 1999, the former town of Tecumseh, the village of St. Clair Beach and the township of Sandwich South amalgamated into the now town of Tecumseh. But the zoning bylaws in those separate communities never changed. In 2023, the town began the process of streamlining all bylaws into one comprehensive policy.
It's basically trying to create a fairness across the municipality for all residents.
The comprehensive zoning bylaw draft includes a host of items, including additional dwelling units, short-term rentals, swimming pools, outside storage, landscaping, and parking of recreational vehicles and trailers in residential zones.
I don't think I'd be a huge fan if it's jammed in with a bunch of other cars and in the wrong neighborhood.
I don't have an RV. I do not have a boat, so there's nothing in my driveway but cars. But yeah, as long as it's not unsightly and, disturbing someone. If it's disturbing someone, then yeah, there has to be something done about it,
In Old Tecumseh, there are no rules regarding recreational vehicles, but in the former St. Clair Beach and former Sandwich South, regulations are currently in place.
It's not the intent of the municipality to tell people that they can't have an RV or a recreational fishing boat.
The draft report details a recreational vehicle or trailer must not exceed 7 meters in length, including any hitch, and does not exceed 3 meters in height. Tecumseh Mayor Gary McNamara says the option to be grandfathered in is a possibility. A third open house is scheduled for Thursday, February 23rd at Tecumseh Arena. Registration is required online. The final report is expected to be brought before council this spring.
It's very important for people to come, have the opportunity to talk to our consultants and certainly our planning department to dispel, misinformation.
Stephanie Mazzotti, CTV News.
The Spitfires shut out in Kitchener tonight, falling 3-0 to the Rangers.
O'Reilly, then to Woolley.
Windsor thought it was down 3-0 late in the second, but a review showed the puck never crossed the line. The Rangers would add an empty netter in the third as Windsor is held off the score sheet. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald has your weather score sheet coming up in 2 minutes' time.
Our hope is that the community all comes out.
Still ahead, a worldwide search for one of Windsor's most high-profile roles who will step up to the podium. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald is here with a look at the forecast. And Gary, looks like a good weekend to stay inside.
If you don't like the cold, and it's coming after some mild conditions, boy, we've been in this roller coaster ride of temperatures just up and down like a sine wave, if you will. Today was above seasonal and significantly so. It's just that the warmest air of the day came early. A lot of us weren't outside to enjoy 6.8, almost 7 degrees Celsius in Windsor. But it's gotten a lot colder. And of course, it was a very windy day. And it's often because of the barometric pressure, the field, if you will, circulating around this area of low pressure. When we see a very intense, wound up core area of low pressure, we know that the winds are strong. Case in point with this satellite radar imagery. That's exactly what we're dealing with this. And there's snow all wrapped up around the core because that's cold air that's circulating. And now, from any angle, 360 degrees around the center of this area of low pressure, we are seeing that kind of yield. Temperatures cold enough in the upper levels, mid and lowest levels near the surface to support some flurry activity. We saw it close to about 1 p.m. in downtown Windsor. A little bit later through the day, closer to about 2, 3 o'clock, it subsided, but intermittent flurries are still a possibility. I want to draw your attention to the daytime high 6.8 and a low of -1.1. We are going to see those temperatures now plummet, and this core area of low pressure, well, it's going to help infuse and keep the snow potential right over the heart of southern Ontario proper. So our average high is 1.2 degrees Celsius as of today. Tomorrow we'll get close to about 1.3, 1.4. It's going in the right direction, but the cold air mass that's in place is going to suppress, generally speaking, that trend, at least for the next 3 or 4 days before things warm up. Rainfall's not a major issue in extreme southwestern Ontario tonight, nor is significant snowfall sticking to the ground. You'll have to go well to the east and northeast of us here in southwestern Ontario, but light flurries a possibility. Overnight temperature down to about 1 or 0 degrees, some areas -1. So watch out for ice forming up. And this is your 2-day encapsulated weekend forecast, 3 degrees and +1. So daytime highs that are seasonal, what we would expect for this time of the year. Note, rain-snow mix is a possibility. For the next 7 days, take a look at highs and lows. And remember, average highs about 1 degree. By this time next week, it'll be closer to +2, but those temperatures are being suppressed by this area of low pressure that isn't going anywhere soon. Flurries through to at least Monday night before temperatures start to climb. Let's look at your 7-day forecast.
Thank you, Gary. Here's something you may not know. Some of the same Labatt facilities that supply beer across southwestern Ontario can also be mobilized to produce emergency drinking water. Now, the brewery in London is formalizing that role with the province. CTV's Jerry Dewan explains.
In 2012, Labatt became the first brewery in the world to shift production so they could turn out cans of emergency drinking water. Now the brewery has signed on as a member of Ontario Corps, and that commitment goes beyond producing water.
Labatt may offer use of their facilities, trucks, drivers, cardboard boxes, forklifts, pallets, and refrigeration facilities to support emergency response efforts.
Ontario Corps was first announced by the Premier in late 2024. It's overseen by Emergency Preparedness and Response Minister Jill Dunlop. Dunlop visited the Labatt Brewery Friday morning to formalize the arrangement.
But having individuals volunteer is amazing. We want to continue to build that up and help train people. But when you look at private companies and associations who want to sign on and want to help out, they have those assets that are available to our needs.
Labatt officials say the Labatt Brewing Company has been taking part in humanitarian projects from the very earliest stages of its almost 180-year history.
John Kinder Labatt, our founder, started this tradition of giving back to the community in London when there was a famine in the late 1800s and gave 1,000 pounds of flour. So we've continued that tradition.
Since 2012, Labatt has donated more than 1 million cans of water to disaster relief efforts, including sending 40,000 cans to Penanjicum First Nation, whose residents were impacted by wildfires in northern Ontario last summer. Labatt also produced hand sanitizer for food banks and frontline workers during the pandemic. Ryan says having a more coordinated approach will benefit those impacted by disasters and the volunteers who take part.
For me, when assets are available and they're not utilized, that is the tragedy in this, is that when you want to help, you can't. But this will enable corporations and companies like Labatt to support the government and Ontarians quickly and efficiently.
Labatt is one of the first private sector organizations to become an Ontario Core partner. Jerry DeWan, CTV News.
The court ruling on American tariffs helped lift Canada's main stock index. The TSX gained 223 points, the Dow added 231, and the Nasdaq is up 203. The Canadian dollar gained 0.04 of a cent. Gold is up more than $83 an ounce, and oil added 8 cents a barrel.
CTV News Windsor has launched a newsletter helping you start your day with the latest local news. By signing up, you'll get direct local content straight from CTV Windsor to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewswindsor.ca.
As the Windsor Symphony Orchestra continues to search for its next music director, the team says they've heard from more than 100 conductors all around the world interested in the gig. In the running are candidates from Argentina, Australia, Germany, Ukraine, the United States, and the Netherlands. The WSO says about 20% of applicants are Canadian and 15% are women. Longtime maestro Robert Franz led the orchestra from 2013 until his death in September at age 57. Past board chair Deborah Severs says the talent is exceptional. Shortlisted candidates will rehearse with the orchestra for a week and conduct a concert during the 2026-2027 season. A new music director expected to be in place for the orchestra's 80th anniversary season in 2027 to 2028. And while the WSO is searching on Earth, many this week are looking to the stars for signs of life. The U.S. president is now promising to release government files on UFOs and possible extraterrestrial life. As CTV's John Van Valley Rao reports, that's drawing interest and some skepticism.
My gosh. American Navy pilots have spotted them. Look at that thing. Strange objects flying in unusual ways. But now the U.S. president vowing to release whatever his government knows about UFOs and aliens. But is Donald Trump a believer?
I don't have an opinion on it. I never talk about it. A lot of people do. A lot of people believe it.
Trump directing America's Department of War and other agencies to begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life. That includes UFOs, which these days are called unidentified aerial phenomena.
A lot of UFO fans are really excited that this is it. This is what we've been waiting for. This is Christmas. We're going to be getting all the files.
There's some. It all comes after former U.S. President Barack Obama appeared on a podcast and offered a surprising answer to this question.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in what is it?
Area 51.
Area 51.
His statement that they're real led to so much buzz online, Obama later clarified, writing, "Statistically, the universe is so vast that the odds are good there's life out there," adding, "I saw no evidence during my presidency that extraterrestrials have made contact with us, really." Still, Trump accused Obama of revealing classified information. In 2024, the U.S. Pentagon said there was no evidence alien life had ever been encountered, but added there were sightings that needed further investigation. Still, of Trump's latest directive, some think he's just using it to deflect attention.
Some people had said already that this was going to be a distraction from some other files that he doesn't want to release. So maybe we'll get something, but I'm not holding my breath quite yet.
Meanwhile, Trump did not set any kind of a deadline for the release of information. John Van Valley Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
The
discussion here at Windsor City Hall.
Windsor's top stories.
A major project is about to get underway.
Breaking news alerts.
Severe weather is a possibility.
And watch live.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Download the CTV News app.
CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald is back with another look at the 7-day forecast. And Gary, I see the sun a little bit on the calendar behind you, but I also see some cold temperatures.
Some cold temperatures, you're right about that. It's not likely to be a very sunny next 7 days, Travis. So take a look at some flurries, cloudy conditions tomorrow, still windy late tonight into tomorrow morning, a high of +3 for Saturday afternoon, a rain snow mix, but I think it'll be mostly light if we see it at all. Flurries, a possibility both Sunday and Monday. Highs of +1, then -1. Note the lows getting colder. Monday, Tuesday in particular, and Tuesday's, well, essentially the lone bright spot as of this juncture. Some flurries, maybe even some wet flakes Wednesday. Rain, mild enough to see it early in the morning Thursday. And temperatures rising to maybe 7 or 8 degrees Celsius a week from now on Friday, wherever you are. Enjoy your weekend, your weather, and hopefully, God willing, I'll see you next week.
Thank you, Gary. Finally tonight, at a zoo in Japan, a baby monkey is melting hearts around the world. After being abandoned at birth, he found comfort in an unlikely friend.
Meet Punch, a 7-month-old Japanese macaque and the stuffed friend he never lets go. When his mother abandoned him shortly after birth, zookeepers stepped in, hand-raising the tiny monkey and searching for a way to give him the security he was missing. They tried towels and other toys before finding one that stuck, a plush orangutan with long fur and limbs he could cling to just like a real mother. Now, Punch drags it everywhere, across rocks, through grass, and through his daily life at the zoo. Even as he's been reintroduced to his troop, the toy remains close, a source of comfort as he learns how to be part of the group. Their bond has captured attention around the world, drawing huge crowds and an outpouring of support for the little monkey's journey. Keepers say it's all part of his progress, and while they hope he'll one day no longer need it, for now, one small monkey and one stuffed friend are helping each other hold on.
I would die for that monkey. That's our time for tonight. We hope to see you back here on Monday. For now, I'm Travis Fortnum. Have a great weekend.